The uncomplicated startup of a Twitch stream. Hey guys! Hey, how we doing? How's it going? Hey, hi, it's me, it's Tech. How you guys doing? We feeling good? Until I hear it sound. Okay, cool. Alright. It's the start of a new week. In and out of universe. Oop, oh shit. Oh, cool. Glad to know I promised casual days when we get this. What's happening? Didn't advance the story. Oh. I want to help you, the woman said. She was sincere. The frankness of her confession unclouded by any trace of unpure emotion, tears pouring from her eyes as she spoke the words, I wish to see you free from your suffering, which made me feel nothing but pessimism. I felt neither joy nor gratitude that she had come to save me. That kindness of hers was misdirected, and nothing but an annoyance to me. It wasn't enough to make me despise her. Honestly, I wanted her to run along home to her own world instead. That isn't to say I hated the woman, but the very principles that guided her actions were wrong. She should have known as well as I did that she wasn't going to save anyone. She should have known from the start. It was impossible for her to save me. I responded in a voice you couldn't exactly call a voice. With your throat crushed, it's impossible to make a sound. So I tried shaking my head till I remembered what I couldn't do that either. Eventually, she gave up and went back above ground. She kept up that contest of endurance for days, until gradually she came to realize she was talking to herself. The one her words were addressed to was just a corpse. That's something that happened, apparently. These events I hadn't committed to memory in the first place are now surfacing in my mind because of their similar emotions now being directed towards me. Doubt and mercy. That woman who tries to be so fastidious is holding some sort of ridiculous feeling of obligation towards me, even though she doesn't have a shred of proof as to why she should. Zet Fraga McRemitz. That woman who's become Avenger's Master now harbors the same misdirected emotions for me as the woman from back then. Oh shit. Turn that down the headphone mix. My heart thundering at the speed of over 500% over its usual rate, I barely propel my exhausted body towards the ruins. My throat is burning. The way my right leg's aching after I pushed it to the limits of my endurance and beyond, it's coming to no surprise to hear that I'd busted it. Having used up all but the dregs of the magical energy I received from Bazette, my own reserves of strength are starting to come up dry too. Basically, you could say I'm giving up. Can't move another step. And I'm tempted to just quit now. Consequences be damned. What on earth are you doing? Get in there now, Avenger! Bazette, who reached the ruins one step ahead of me, comes back outside and shouts at me. Gasping for purchase with both hands, I fling myself into the building with all the dignity of a fleeing puppy. The door slams closed behind me. Of course, some little door isn't worth a fart as far as defense goes, considering the monster that, yeah. After all that, I'm still like, they still have Berserker and Ilya to contend with. It's a strong bit they're running, but like, I don't know if it's that strong. Having that barrier at least gives us the illusion of security, though. I can hear a roar. That must be the big fucker we got on our tail, destroying everything in our path. He pursues us through the forest. Running away to a ruin like this won't save us. Once he catches up, he'll crush the whole place to powder, and both of us along with it. Things like a fierce gale. No matter what kind of weapon one is armed with, it's plain to see that no human could cross swords with that and live. Well, we're talking specifically. In a clearing in the forest, we ran into that monster. No, it would be better to say that it was waiting there for us. Though sat there like a monolith carved out of stone, the second we set foot into its territory, it let out that roar as it came after us. The battle was over in 1 second. I never had any great desire to pick a fight with that thing in the first place, but after the first shot, even Bazette realized that we couldn't fight it, let alone win. Bazette's not one to back down from a fight. Even after Frog Rock failed to score a kill, she wisely and graciously gave the order to retreat. Still, you gotta hand it to her. To be able to fight even for a few seconds facing the source of that hellish roar takes some serious guts. She recovered in no time, fired off Frog Rock, while that huge monster's war cry still had me nearly pissing myself. The noble phantasm, it seems, has to be the type that's always on, because Frog Rock activated right away. Her aim was true, and her shot struck right in its heart, bringing that fat ass down once and for all. Or at least, it should have happened. Instead, it had completely revived 10 seconds later and kept charging straight for us. Back from the brink of death in perfect health. In other words, a body that knows no death. That's that big fucker's noble phantasm. After she wasted her Frog Rock on it, as its whole body went rigid. And with her frozen there, as that monstrous thing came bearing down on her, I personally think it was awfully nice of me to give her a little push out of harm's way via a flying kick to the side. Pang. It felt like he barely grazed me, but that was enough to send me flying too. Big Eye's sights are now set on me, standing right in its path, and I look up to see an axe the size of a Grecian pillar raised over my head. To even think about getting a hit from that would be crazy. Eating a hit from that would be crazy, and my chances of slipping by unharmed were stupendously low. So then, when things were at their darkest, just when I was thinking that, this must be what they call instant death. Who should come to my rescue but the very same Bazette who I just kicked away with that huge thing. She leveled her second Frog Rock at its face and fired, striking her right between the eyes. Now's our chance. Come on, we're making a run for it. Seems like she fired her second Frog Rock, not meaning to kill, but to try and blind it. But even a huge hole in its face didn't stop that monster, or the axe in its hand. So that's when Bazette grabbed me by the hand and made a break for the forest. Throwing off the gloves that Frog Rock had burned, she ran. Bazette laid a rune on both legs to help her run faster. Me, being the compulsive thief and hoarder that I am, I picked up her trash. This isn't the time to dawdle. Now's our chance to put some distance between us and it, so run! And seizing me by the scruff of my neck, Bazette took off running. Seeing how she's in top physical shape to start off with, the blessing of the runes on top of that allowed her to leave that huge monster behind before you could blink. But even that only gave us a few seconds head start. Before its eyes had even finished healing, it was hot on our trail, as sure as though it were tracking us by scent. And that's how we wound up here, more or less. Which, being stuck in here, means we can expect our new friend to catch up in a couple minutes or so and kill us both. I warned you already that this would be dangerous and we better forget about it. Then again, the whole reason we're in this mess is because you won't listen to a damn thing I say. Got anything to say to that, Master? I acknowledge that I may have underestimated this enemy. It's true that I've accounted for the existence of a servant like that. Bazette's response sounds a little weak, maybe like she's regretting it. Compared to her near total silence from the time we entered the forest till now, this is a veritable world of difference. That's good. Makes it easier on me too. First things first. Nope, that thing ain't no servant. It's a monster that inhabits this forest. A vengeful spirit is something that tried to become a servant and failed. What on earth are you talking about? That was clearly a servant. There's no spirit from the past era or anything of that sort. It had a noble phantasm. That was the Einzbern servant, no doubt. Well, going by where we came across him, probably so. Right. That's right. Regardless of whether or not it's an enemy, a servant's a servant after all. By all rights, trying to figure out what class of servant that monster would be a waste of time. What we need to focus on right now, rather than trying to figure out what the hell that thing is to figure out what the hell we should do about it. Anything we can do about that big fucker for now, so let's figure out what we're going to do with ourselves. So what's the plan, Master? Do we wait here like good little boys and girls until it kills us and start over? Or we're going to go find its master? We'll find its master, naturally. I didn't feel any master's presence nearby the servant, so I believe whoever it is must be holed up in the Einzbern castle. I agree as far as they must be holed up at the castle part, but to get there in the first place, we gotta do something about that big fucker, you know? So what's the plan? Do we run, or do we fight it? Avenger, speaking plainly, it pains me to turn my back on an enemy. Face them once battle is joined and crush them with all my power. That is my will. Pate Bio. And don't I know it? How could I not, after all the time we've been together? You just managed to scrape by, dragging me along with you no matter how I may protest, and jumping right into the losing battles without so much as breaking a sweat. That was only because I had misjudged your ability as one which creates a loop. If only you were a more normal servant, we would have no need to press you so hard. I wondered about that. So, that's what we're gonna do this time around too? At any rate, we'll never make it to the castle unless we do something about that hulking bastard first. No, even I am not that reckless. In all my battles up to this point, I was able to prevail because the chances of my victory existed. But here, the chances are non-existent. We are an extremely poor match for this opponent. I let out a whistle. Just as it said, we were in a real bad match against that ginormous thing. My noble phantasm's just no good against it. Up against him, I couldn't survive so much as a single blow. First strike could be fatal, so if one hit equals death, I can't turn the curse back on. On the other hand, we could have Bazette counterattack with Frog Rock, but she can only use it 3 times. It's crystal clear now that the monster's noble phantasm allows it to rise from the dead. We don't know yet how many times it's good for, but it likely outnumbers the uses of Frog Rock we've got. Which means fighting it is out of the question, leaving us with... escape. Escaping as it pursues us and heading for the castle, I suppose. Our chances of success aren't that much better, but at least they won't be 0. She's right about that much. But there's still something pretty big that Bazette's overlooking. That monster ain't something you can just ignore. To make it to the castle, we gotta take care of our new buddy somehow. This is it then. I'll stay here and draw that big bastard's fire while you make for the castle. Okay, our chances should be about 50-50 with that. As long as you make sure your pretty little feet don't stray out the path, you should be able to get to the castle no problem. The Einzbern castle is about 15 kilometers northwest of here. You got any more of those handy rune carving talons? I'll bet you do. And if so, there's no problem. I know I earn about a 10th of my keep, but you alone should be able to do 10 times that. Avenger, I shall never order you to do such a thing. I shall head to the castle together with you. Don't be stupid. That's way harder on me. To be honest, I can't keep up with you. I barely even made it in here. If you run the same pace as me, it'll catch us for sure. Your weakness is but one of spirit. Rouse yourself and put some backbone into it. You should be able to run if only you put your mind to it. You're always so quick to give up. Ugh. She really hit me where it hurts. But that's quite a gutsy lady. Well, you know, I suppose I might be able to do something if I really put my mind to it. But it's a plain fact that I can't keep up with you at your usual speed. Good grief. In that case, never mind the discussion of battle strategy. Should worse come to worse, shift yourself into spirit form and stay behind me. Well, ain't that a clear-headed opinion? Doing that won't do a thing to help either one of us, though. What's, Can you see the mouse? Okay, what's up with this stuff? It's been, like, in front of my Avengers' eyes this entire time. But, like, I don't know what's up with it. So how are we gonna get out of this one? Any other time, we both just go about playing the part that works best for us. Simple as. The reason we can't do that now is because a certain someone over there is misunderstanding things in the most boring-ass way possible. Sheesh, this ain't like you, Master. What good did it do for me to change into spirit form just to save my own hide? You know that if you die, that means curtains for the both of us, right? So then the only thing that makes sense is to leave me behind here, being a slow runner and a burden overall, while General Bazette leads the one-woman charge and completes her mission to infiltrate the castle. Pardon me, but I don't recall ever referring to you as a burden. No, it's me saying it. Because any way you slice it, I can't do a thing on my own, see? I stick out my left leg to make my point. It was reduced to kibbles and bits by that giant ape when he charged us. That a fourth-rate heroic servant like me managed to make it all the way here on my own power after that is pretty damn impressive if I do say so myself. Yep, the gutsy way ain't nothing to sneeze at. If you will remain here, then so will I. We shall construct a plan to defeat that servant here. I will not continue on by myself. I cannot simply leave you here. Determined, but still doubtful. It's definitely not because of any deep feeling of affection. It was that same hand that once reached out to me in a gesture so severely mistaken. Out of pity, huh? No, I feel no pity for you. I only feel that I should take responsibility for the wound you have sustained. Thus, I choose to show it through refusing to leave you behind. That's all wrong. Listen up, Master. You're saying you want to stay in here, not to achieve your goal, but to help me. Which is, well, not what I call a bad thing, strictly from my own perspective. If you want to help me, I'd just as soon let you. But as long as it's grounded in feelings of indebtedness like that, it'd be really a wicked thing to do. Worse than leaving me behind, in fact. Indebtedness, you say? Yeah, that kind of pity or compassion or whatever you choose to call it. You still listen to my little human? You still listening, my little human miss? If you're planning on rescuing someone from despair, allowing negative emotions to motivate you is a no-go. Without a way to turn all those minuses into a plus, negating a despair that deep is hopeless. Even if you dig deep into the pits of sorrow, and bring the sorrowful up into the light, there are those in the world who just can't be healed. I guess it's like this. It's one thing if you were willing to play daycare teacher 24/7 to the one you saved until the day he's rehabilitated back into society. But humans with that kind of time on their hands are thin on the ground. If you still just have to save a guy like that, even then, without a reason to doing so, which will benefit at least one of you, the whole thing's just lose-lose. Wicked laughter. In the distance, I hear the monsters howl. Bazette stares fixedly at me with her face blank. Was I not clear? Let me give you an example. Say that somewhere, there's this guy who's suffering the absolute worst fate in the world you could possibly think of. You get wind of this guy in the news, and hearing what he's going through really upsets you. That would be the meaningless sentimentality I'm talking about. This is a far-off, distant world we're talking about. One you couldn't do anything about even if you wanted to. So no matter what kind of tragedy goes on beyond your reach, just keep a smile on your face. That's right. To try and save someone who doesn't exist in your own world would mean to deny that world of yours. That's the logic this world operates on. Something that doesn't even bear mentioning. Unrelated humans, unobjecting humans, affirm every misfortune and sorrow by that alone. That inequality cannot be overthrown. So why not just accept the happiness that's built on someone else's sacrifice? Even if it's a truly ugly and wretched life, if you're among the blessed, all you can do is smile and accept that it's just how it is. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. Live out your whole life opposite that contradiction and that ugliness. That's what a proper human should do. A human can't save anyone except himself. Saving another person solely for that other person's sake, there's no better an excuse worthy of death. Such lip service can't save anyone. But if even then you still believe you can save another, if you're still chirping stuff like, I want to save another, yeah, even if you feel like you gotta do something, at least go save them with a smile on your face. Thinking stuff like, I can't abandon him so I'll stay here, or I feel sorry for him so I'll go back. None of that's really any of your business. Don't cling to some stupid idea about wanting to share all the joy and sorrow that comes your way, not even for a moment. That's what I'm saying. All she needs to share with me is the joy. Coming to save me by bringing me sorrow will be nothing but a pain in my ass. What I want is a no question asked fairy tale ending. Peace and love to extend even the days of nothing but loss. That's right. For example, like dark and sunken eyes, seeing a bright and shining future in an outstretched hand. Avenger, you... Whoops! Really went off topic there for a second. If you'll forgive me for being blunt, I'm telling you, you gotta get out of here. Even if we die, it's not like we won't see each other again soon. And it'd be pretty awkward if that thing kills us in that compassionate use. Look, you need to go have a chat with that Einzbern master, don't you? So get out of there and go to... I'll go on back ahead of you. Storm's coming closer. We better end our little chat post-haste before he gets up. What? Something on your mind? No, that'll be all. Then please, I will rely on you to contain the enemy for me, Avenger. Gotcha. Okay then. Give me a second to psych myself up, and then I'll go out and give him a nice warm welcome. You sneak at the back. Waving my hand to Bazette, I venture outside. Once she's made up her mind about something, she won't waste a moment's effort on anything unnecessary. She's already forgotten all about me and is running at full throttle straight to the castle by now. The Einzbern servant will be here any minute. I pull Bazette's glove that I picked up off the ground into my right hand. It's pretty much useless as a glove after Frog Rock reduced it to cinders, but what the hell? Might as well make for a good luck charm. Now then, I guess this time I'll be cut clean in two. Yeah, this is why I told her I didn't want to come out here. The weakest under attack by the strongest. This is... There are way too many matchups like this in this Holy Grail War thing. God damn it. In the end, I left him behind. I allowed him to remain there, in place where he was certain to be killed, and raced to the forest limb. I feel no debt towards him. As he said, this was the natural choice. A familiar should be played like a pawn, sacrificed to protect his king. Using one servant as a shield to prolong your own life is a matter of course. If I'm going to feel indebted to him, it should only be if I fail to reach the castle. Should I fail to live up to the chance of victory he's given me through his servant's devotion, then and only then. I've already grown accustomed to this, and I do understand. Furthermore, even if Avenger were to die, he'll return to life again. Even if he's killed out there, he'll be returned to the first night again. Nothing to lose, nothing to regret. Just as before, I, as a mage of the association, shall conduct myself in a manner befitting my reputation as a first-rate agent. Yet, I feel more pain than usual. These feelings of sentimentality, which I've once felt before, now seem to grate against my heart as I grit my teeth in discomfort. In irritation towards both him and myself, I find myself indiscriminately destroying everything in my path. The darkness of the night and the multitude of trees and even the castle now visible beyond the forest. Feels like if I try to shoot them down... I try to shoot them down if I relax my grasp. It feels like I'd try to shoot them down if I relaxed my grasp of myself even for a moment. However, it's not those voiceless objects that I want to destroy the most, but... Yes, now I, too, have left him behind. All of a sudden, I find myself wanting to apologize to all those unknown things. Even if it was the natural choice. Even if he told me to do so himself. The way I treated him was worse than any hatred or betrayal. The castle gate stands wide open. Without a moment's pause, I hurry inside. I may have left that monster far behind me, but in all likelihood, I still have no more than 5 minutes to spare. I must locate the Einzbern master and force their surrender right away. Which is what... It's probably there, isn't it? Shit. Which is why I need to calm down. And gather my wits. My goal isn't to do away with the master, but to have a few uncertain points clarified. I must ask the master of the Einzberns, the family acting as the cornerstone of the Holy Grail War, and said to know more about the whole heroic spirits than any other, about the mystery of these 4 days. I storm the entrance to the castle foyer. I should have known we were here the moment we engaged the monster in combat. No need for stealth now. Plus now. Second floor. There. As I run towards the staircase, I put on a spare pair of leather gloves. I'm in the thick of enemy territory now. Would it be strange to find a blade at my neck at any moment? The strike could come from any direction. An anachronistic long-handled weapon comes swinging down towards me. A halberd. Dodging that deadly ancient weapon, the style of which was beginning to fall out of favor even among the Knights of the Holy Church, I jumped back out of the way. Intruder, if captivili Ilya, leave. A voice free of emotion. Wielding a weapon that must weigh in excess of 40 kilos as though it were lighter than a feather. No, the awkwardness in her moves is as if she doesn't feel the weight at all. There's no room for doubt. That was one of the finely honed battle usage synthetic humans of the Einzberns. Homunculus. Won't go, and no choice. Perhaps picking up on my own readiness for battle, the homunculus raises her halberd into the air. There's no time to try and gauge her ability. I have to take her down with my fist strike. This is the second time I faced off against an Einzbern-made homunculus, and a formidable opponent though she may be, I know her limits. Flurry of attacks and defensive counters leaves us still facing off against one another. Her strikes with the halberd are like those of a child in a play sword fight. She has nothing to depend on but brute strength. In addition to that, her raw power is so otherworldly as to be superhuman, transforming her into a force of nature in battle. Though not at the level of the monster out there, one blow from this homunculus would be more than enough. The fatally wounded. A direct hit would likely shatter every bone in my body. Even while parrying the Gale-level force of her attacks, I managed to land 7 or so punches on her. And though each one contained enough power to have blown her internal organs out through her back, not so much as a flicker of pain shows on the face of the homunculus. I don't know whether that maid uniform of hers is some kind of superb mystic code, or whether she simply doesn't feel pain at all. At any rate, I have to break through this homunculus' bones to bring her to a standstill. The fire of battle in the homunculus dies down. Her face is as expressionless as it was filled with a strong drive. Suddenly dreams of its former tension as...
That's enough, Liz. Didn't I tell you to give a proper welcome to my guest?
A young girl appears at the top of the staircase. Her hair is white as snow.
Good evening, dear guest. I believe we have not yet been introduced. I am the mistress of this castle, Iliesville von Einzbern. Pray, tell me what brings you to our humble abode so late in the evening.
The girl ushers me inside with a polite grace that perfectly complements her loveliness. This girl's the Einzbern master? There's definitely a strong magical aura surrounding her. The amount of magical energy her body holds is simply phenomenal. A being beyond human. A natural-born magic circuit. There's no mistake. This girl, too, is a homunculus, crafted by the hands of the Einzberns.
Oh my, no return greeting, even though I came out to receive you in person? So these are the masters of the Mage of the Association. If you're unwilling to engage in proper conversation, then please feel free to depart our castle at once.
She giggles. Even though she knows I'm a master, there's not a trace of caution in her. It's almost as if she never saw me as a worthy opponent from the start. Please forgive my earlier rudeness. My name is Bazet. I am a master dispatched by the Mages Association, and it is in that capacity that I came here tonight.
I know that quite well. I believe you read afoul of a servant in the forest, did you not? I thought that our visitor might be you. No other masters would dare set foot in this place, not even by mistake. I was delighted to finally have you as our guest.
Huh? Her smile is so carefree. My first impression of her could have been off the mark. There's no condensation in the girl's manner. She simply doesn't view me as her enemy.
That's right. I do not wish to fight you. Or rather, I have no wish to fight any master. I am no longer a master myself, you see. All the other masters, myself accepted, already know this, and so none make the journey to this forest.
What? She's not a master? What does this mean?
Stand down, Liz. It seems Bazet wishes to speak with me. Go and close the gate so that the monster from the forest cannot find its way in.
Okay, but this really alright, Ilya?
It's fine. I wish to speak to Bizette in private. You've gotten awfully cheeky of late, Liz. Do take care not to define me like this again.
Yeah, Liz will do what Ilya says. The homunculus called Liz exits past me without so much as a watchful glance in my direction, as though our fierce battle a few moments ago never took place.
Now, come this way, Bizette. You came here to talk to me, didn't you? I'd be glad to tell you anything I know.
The girl descends the stairs and disappears into the far end of the lobby. Still reeling slightly from this completely unexpected turn of events, I take her up on the invitation.
I know all the details of your circumstances. You entered my forest, got attacked by a monster, used your own servant as a decoy, and made it all the way here. Your purpose was twofold: to defeat the Einzbern master and to have your questions answered. Am I mistaken? Otherwise, I don't believe you to come all this way to the Forgotten Castle for the sole purpose of challenging me.
The girl calmly lowers herself into a chair, though I declined when offered a seat of my own. Even if she proclaims disinterest in fighting me, this place is still enemy territory. I can't know for certain that she won't make this whole room disappear with a snap of her fingers.
You're quite wary, aren't you, Bizette? Is this the result of the teachings of the association, or simply your character? Could it be that you're the type who won't do so much as drink a cup of tea offered in an enemy camp?
That depends on the situation, but I won't be having any tea here. Just as you said, I came here with questions that I want answered. I didn't come to engage in idle conversation.
Really? How disappointing. I suppose I'd better call off the preparations for tea then. I see you'd rather get your business over with quickly.
Did this girl really the Einzbern master? I'm beginning to doubt her anew. No, if what she said about no longer being a master is true, then she really is not a master at all. Eliasville, you say that you're not a master, but isn't that giant in the forest your servant?
That monster is my servant, but he's not the servant of the Einzberns. A bit of a mistake was made and he was driven mad. He's now merely a monster who protects me, unconnected to the Holy Grail War. The monsters appearing in the city, they're not quite the same, but you may think of them as being similar. He has no connection to the Holy Grail, but is simply a monster who kills any master that enters the forest. He was a servant, but was beaten out of it, beaten out for the position and is now but a formless ghost.
Beaten out for the position.
Yes, there was no part available for him to play, and so I couldn't give him a decent role. This would not have happened were he the servant of the Einzberns.
So you're saying that monster's not the Einzbern servant? Then where's the servant who is?
Gone. For my servant was taken away from me by another master. That is why I say that I am no longer a master. On the fourth night after this Holy Grail War began, the servant was killed, and the Einzbern master defeated. And the first to know that the Einzberns been eliminated from the race should have been your servant.
My mind freezes. Avenger knew that the Einzbern masters had been defeated. Not that it comes as a surprise. The number of things he's keeping a secret from me could fill volumes. I don't trust that suspicious guy at all, so this news is hardly enough to shock me. What I find much more strange is...
What's wrong? Is there something else troubling you?
She giggles. This girl, she knows everything. Elisa, the servant of yours who was taken by another master. Was that?
Oh, don't you know? His name is Avenger, the one called Angra Magnon, the oldest of the world's evils.
With a grating sound, my consciousness distorts. My fist unconsciously closes around the earring in my pocket. After laboring to calm my suddenly ragged breathing, I say, "That's quite strange. Firstly, I've never heard of an Avenger class before. Second, a heroic spirit such as Angra Magnon shouldn't exist in the first place." I finally put into words the question that's haunted me ever since this all began.
But of course, the one called Angromanyu does not exist. The one who answered the summons as Avenger is but a fraud bearing the Angromanyu name, a mere human. An ordinary person with no relation to the great evil of the old legends, knowing neither magic nor mystery. He was the one selected at random to become an effigy, and treated as a demon for the rest of his life. Nothing more than a scapegoat.
A fairy tale from a far-off distant world. Once there existed a people who, distraught by all the strife that had come to be in the world, created for themselves a new world, isolated deep in the mountains. But though they had gathered together in the hopes of living as an embodiment of man's innate goodness, they were unable to divorce themselves from the evil nature also inherent in man. Doubt and deception, hatred and resentment. No matter how gloriously they sang the praises of human good, evil was still born among them. So they decided that someone had shouldered the blame for the ugliness of the world. This evil was not something that could have been born from within any of them. That they themselves had this evil in their nature couldn't be true. The evil of mankind stems from the venom of something. Demonic, which comes to infect us. We must all lead lives of purity and righteousness. Therefore, they required a root of all evil. They required an effigy to bear the weight of all sin. Someone of whom it could be said, it is only you who is evil. And so, a scapegoat was created to become all the evil in the world, a lone sacrifice.
Every so often, people like that get mixed in among this heroic spirits. Though he himself only meant to lead an ordinary life, in death, he is deified by those around him and revered as a hero. Dead men tell no tales, so even if you force them into a role that's convenient for you like that, you'll never hear them complain. For those virtuous ones who know, no doubt, they certainly make a suitable target for worship. But his case was beyond the pale. Perhaps it's because of what the people were worshipping him. Perhaps it was because of what the people were worshipping in him, anger and hatred. He was treated as a real, genuine demon, and unto him they pressed all their condemnation and blame. Poverty, sickness, disaster, and finally, the fear that they all would die one day. They made him an outlet for their emotions, pelting him with accusations that all of these things existed only as a fault of his presence. But through this, the people were saved. Since a demon like that exists in this world, there's nothing we can do about it, they said. Every bad thing that exists is his fault, not ours, they said. And thus, in death, he came to be viewed as a heroic spirit. Not a single great deed did those hands commit, nor did any man venerate him, but he saved a great many people even so.
While he still lived, he became a god. While he still lived, he had his human nature taken away. The name he was given at birth was stripped from him. He was spoken of as a great evil.
With this, my name is gone.
He spoke of it as if it was a trifling matter.
Even if you ordered me to remember, that record just doesn't exist.
Anywhere in this world I know. He declared without a trace of resentment. And in response, your next name was one that you were fondly called as a hero. Even if it is a title, it's a name that gained acclaim from people. Of course you would like it. How could I have ever said such a name? So that is Avenger, a human chosen as Angromanyu, the evil nature of the world. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct. However, when it comes to ability, he's utterly useless. Although he was called Angromanyu, that kind of religious faith being placed in him doesn't guarantee the manifestation of any special powers. While he lived, and after his death, when he was seen as a heroic spirit, he was a mere human. Well, the exclusion of his name from Avesta means that he is free from the laws of order as well. Nevertheless, it is far from earning a heroic spirit label. As a servant, he was garbage, good for absolutely nothing.
Garbage?
Why, it seems like something has upset you all of a sudden. You should know there's nothing to be gained by killing me. Could it be that you're more dangerous than you look?
Now that she says that, I realize I'm seething with anger. What the girl said wasn't that far off the mark. It's true that as a heroic spirit, he's incredibly weak, and at first I did think he was useless. But that was only due to my lack of understanding at the time, added to the fact that it's hard to grasp his good points. No, he really was useless back when he was my...
No, he really was useless, back when he was my servant, Bazette. He did not become the heroic spirit that people wished for until much later on. Until the wish was he was fulfilled. He remained powerless. Neither did he have a single noble phantasm at his disposal.
No noble phantasm? No. Does that mean he couldn't use his noble phantasm while he was the Einzbern servant? This isn't adding up. The Einzbern girl whose servant was taken away. If he was taken, that would make me the one who took him. About this, there can be no mistake. I don't have the first idea how I was able to usurp the contract from her, but it seems this girl's contract with Avenger was switched with mine. So then, does the death of the fourth... What is the death of the fourth day signify? Being taken away is not the same as dying. This girl is talking about multiple conclusions at once.
Well, let's not talk about my now departed servant for now, isn't it? I want to hear about your servant, Bazette. You are a mage of the association, after all. So am I wrong in thinking that you're able to summon a heroic spirit of great renown?
No, my servant is... Avenger, was going to say, but hesitated before my mouth could shape the words. It's partly because I'm the one that said, took him from her, but on top of that, I can't shake the feeling that she's lying to me about something.
Your servant is...
I don't really have much of reason to tell you now that you are no longer a master. And besides, he's already long dead. Right when I arrived at the castle, all response from Avenger ceased. He's already returned to the first night, and there he waits for me to awaken, just like always. Yes, for that is his ability. To be reborn even from death. No, to start over from the first day, when we were still alive. Which means that girl before my eyes must already know about his ability to rewind. Eliasville, you said that Avenger could not use a noble phantasm, did you not? To what were you referring? Avesta? Or...
I don't quite know what you're talking about. They couldn't use any at all. Neither one, nor the other. I've already said so, haven't I? As a tool, Avenger was completely useless.
So this must mean that the Einzbern Master knows nothing at all about Avenger's noble phantasm. Never mind Avesta, his ability to resurrect from the dead far surpasses even other noble phantasms. There's just no way anyone who's experienced that power firsthand could so summarily dismiss him as useless.
Come to think of it, there's really no use in talking about Avenger like this. Let's get to the heart of the matter.
Oh, let's get to the heart of the matter, Eliasville. What are your impressions of this Holy Grail War?
Who knows? I was removed from the running quite a while ago. I have no further interest in this Holy Grail War. It's already over for me, so I'm simply watching here from until the whole thing is finished.
So I take it you know nothing of the familiars approaching of this town either? Appearing, whatever.
That thing. Didn't I just say so? I'm out of the running. But then again, yes, this is the last night for those monsters that will run the town. They can only exist from the start until today, the evening of the fourth day.
Came up again. Another leak to the period of 4 days. My search for clues relating to that was originally what brought me here tonight. Eliasville, about the abilities of my servant. I tell her, with a certain conviction, of all that has happened so far. Rebirth from death. The endlessly restarting Holy Grail War. No, that's not it. About my servant and I, who no matter how many times we repeat them, cannot move beyond those 4 days.
Repeating the Holy Grail War. I see. So that's how it seems to you. No. Both of you are the only ones who are confined.
We're the only ones who is confined. Is right in saying that. Viewed from the periphery of a girl who cannot rewind to the fourth day. Will be followed by a fifth. But the two of them must return to the first day. We're standing in the middle of the river, vast river called time, never moving downstream from where we stand, and going back upstream again and again.
You came here to find a solution, I see. You wish to stop the Holy Grail War and pass beyond the 4th day.
No, I haven't the slightest desire to stop the Holy Grail War. I only want to know for certain if this boundary of 4 repeating days confines us as it does.
Oh no? Then just what is it that you want? If things continue as they are, you will remain in eternal...
No. All I want is to win this abnormal Holy Grail War and fulfill the duty I was sent here for.
I see. Had you wished to sever the contract with your servant, I'd be willing to lend a hand, but the problem of this nature isn't within my jurisdiction. As I've told you several times, I'm out of the running. I have no interest to go outside of this castle. Why, the Holy Grail War of yours could become a way that has something... the way it has something only you can investigate, Bazette.
The girl rises from her seat. Eliseville moves towards the lobby as though she's lost all interest in me.
Good night, Bazette. If what you say is true, then tonight is the night you will return again, right? You're welcome to stay in the castle until it happens. If you go back into the forest, you're likely to be killed by the monster. The stars are beautiful tonight. Now that you're alone, take this chance to think for a while about what you're trying to accomplish and whether you're sure you want to find out the cause of the sense of unease you're feeling.
I leave the winter castle behind me. I refuse the girl's offer. Even if in the forest I do encounter that monster and my defeat is at its hands, I can't simply stay here passing the time in tranquility all by myself. As she said, the sky is remarkably clear. While gazing up at the countless number of stars overhead, I think of him. The one who doubtless really replies something sarcastic like, "How can they be countless if you can see them? You can count them too, if he were here." It's not why we reach the end of every 4 days that I should be trying to figure out. It's why things gotten this way in the first place. The rewinding abilities isn't Avengers' Noble Phantasm. I do remember him having said so himself. With that this was a special bonus from having made a contract with me. What did he mean by a special bonus? If this isn't a Noble Phantasm, I ask myself, then just what kind of miracle can make this happen? A wish-granting magic vessel. I deny the answer that rises from the surface of my mind. I can't trust Avenger. I can only do what I can do for the best of my abilities. That's it. Next time I'll go out into the town during the day while he sleeps. Avenger is incapable of action during daylight hours, but I myself have no such restrictions. Although I've avoided going out during the day thus far, it's not as simple. It's not as though I'm a vampire or anything like that. The mages of Fuyugi should be Tosaka and Mato, and the one who survived from last time, Emi Kiritsugu. If I'm going to take action, why not start there? Keeping it quiet from my servant, I'll go out into the town. Once again, I feel an unnecessary pain in my chest. It would have been so much better if I truly couldn't trust him. Because I want to believe in him, I'm hiding things from him and seeking out the truth. Next. Alright. We're going to look around, but I actually am planning to cut this one short. Same as always, though. I'm just having trouble keeping my eyes open. But also, this is a nice place to stop. And I'm really thinking hard about isolating the Bazette segments. Just because one, it makes thumbnailing and all that fine stuff easier, but also it's just like, hey, this is a Bazette segment. If you just want to hear for the main story, here it is. If you want to see like the fun little pseudo parts, it's there. Which I keep wanting to do, but But anyway, I'm near babbling incoherent now because I'm very tired. Ooh, you know what? I think it's an extra. No, special. Let's see. Let's get one of these. Let's get that one. Oh, hey, it's her halberd.
Nezret's primary weapon, the halberd. A spear with an axe, familiar from RPGs. I'll leave the commentary on this weird weapon to you.
Are you sure?
Go for it.
Fine. I'll accept. The halberd, as you can see, can be used for cutting, slashing, and stabbing. However, it is inferior when compared to the normal sword, axe, or spear. This weapon is used almost exclusively to trip the opponent. In short, to put them in a position where you can kill them easily. The shape of the tip is designed to drag down an enemy on horseback. For its original use, it's a very easy weapon to handle. But this halberd is an extreme case. Firstly, it is too heavy for most men to wield. Quite an inhuman weapon. I like Rin just dancing with her weird ribbon sword Zeltrich thing. If a rational servant had it, they would recognize it as illogical and discard it. Fighting barehanded would be preferable to that. But the one wielding it is the Einzbern's man-made doll, a homunculus. They do not tire and have strength equal to that of a servant. No, probably even surpassing that. But the threat they pose is another story. Back to the weapon. At first glance, this halberd seems to be a replica of an antique, but there's no doubt that the latest Einzbern technology has been used to make it. So, of course, it also has various magical properties, especially since the homunculi had to consider the possibility of facing many different weapons, or even noble phantasms. It is a weapon that is tough rather than sharp. It was forged to give priority to winning, thus it functions as offensive armor.
Attacking with armor sounds downright offensive.
Anyway, the material suited for this is a material even better than tungsten steel, which can pierce through a tank. Rhenium. Rhenium, compared with tungsten, is much more rare and expensive. But in this case, that isn't an issue. Named after the Rhine River, this alloy exceeds the strength of tungsten. For a homunculus who doesn't need to worry about the trade-offs, it's perfect.
Is it that heavy?
Tremendously. It's 3 times as dense as iron, heavier than steel, lead, or gold. Can you imagine what a blow from a weapon like that would do? I'm sure you can't. In that area, it has an extra plus of inducing hesitation in the enemy. A delicate-looking homunculus wielding an unknown weapon never seen in the history of human warfare. This is how they inspire fear.
The way you're talking now, it almost like you just finished a duel or something.
No. It'd be like a dream if a weapon like that existed. So I was just letting my imagination run wild.
He's having fun fantasizing.
Such is the ramblings of the weapon nerd. But anyway, we're calling it here. Maybe, I'm sorry.
I don't think I've been getting like a really good sleep lately. But at the same time, I don't want to. It's kind of a situation where it's kind of lose-lose. Where I wake up too early and I didn't get enough sleep. But at the same time, I can't go back to sleep. Because if I go back to sleep, I'll overshoot it. And then I'll be late for my classes. So that's fun to try and decide that. But I'll just have to try my best to get a good night's sleep, which is something you should always be striving for. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week. I hope you manage to take care of yourselves, get some nice sleeps, brush your teeth, and I will see you next time. Later.